What's up, Car Squad fam, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Derek and I do car reviews. Today we'll be checking out this 1990 Ford Ranger Custom. This one has just over 93,000 miles and is currently being auctioned on Cars and Bids by the Motorsimo Collection here in San Jose, California. I'll drop a link in the description below so you can check it out. Now, this is a first generation Ford Ranger. They debuted in 1983. However, in 1989, they received a facelift, which this one being a 1990, of course, does have. With that facelift included rear anti-lock brakes on all models. This generation ran up until 1992, and then of course was followed by the second generation Ford Ranger. Today, I'll give you a tour around the exterior and interior of the vehicle. Then we'll get it out on the road for a point of view drive, and then finally I'll wrap it up by sharing my thoughts on the vehicle. And I am located here in the Bay Area in Northern California, so if you've got a car that I can review, please shoot me an email at the address listed here. Thanks. Alright, so starting off up front here in the engine bay, you'll see that this truck is optioned with the 2.9 liter V6 engine. Now, there were a few different engine options you could have during the run of the first generation Ranger. The standard engine was a 2.3 liter 4-cylinder, which put out about 100 horsepower. Going with this 2.9 liter V6, you got an additional 40 horsepower, so it brought it up to 140 horsepower with 170 pound-feet of torque. This motor used a single overhead cam and push-rod driven valve train. It is a rear-wheel drive vehicle, and it's got a 4-speed automatic transmission. Your gas mileage is rated at 17 in the city and 21 on the highway. One other thing I do want to point out while we're up front here is just how much working room you have up here. It's very spacious, so if you're looking at buying something that you can work on, I think this would be something that would allow you to access things pretty easily. Alright, so moving around to the back of the vehicle here, you'll see the Ford name written largely across the tailgate here. Many trucks from this time kind of had this style to them, and I do really like it. I think it is a good look. As far as getting into the bed itself, this one you'll see has a lifetime camper shell on it. You'll open this up here, lift that, and then this takes a little bit of muscle, but you just lift and then lower the tailgate. Once you're back here, you have access to the 7-foot bed, so plenty of room to haul around whatever it is you might need to. This one was optioned with this longer bed compared to the standard 6-foot bed. One nice thing about this camper shell is you do have these large windows on both the left and right side. You can open this up as well and then have easy access to items that might be further in your bed, so you're not having to go around back or pull things out to get to them. Of course, when you're driving as well, having these large windows on both sides makes your visibility a lot better as well. Now, as we move into the cab of this truck, I want to point out first that you do have two separate keys. One is to access the doors and actually get into the vehicle, and then you have a separate key that actually starts the vehicle. Now, this truck does have one of the most annoying door open warnings that I have ever heard. I'm going to put the key in the ignition so you can hear what it sounds like. And that'll just buzz and buzz, won't stop. It's not a ding ding, ding ding, it's just this buzzing sound ongoing the whole time. Alright, so you'll see here the 3-passenger bench seat that this truck has. I should point out there are no headrests, so just something to be aware of if you're suddenly braking or accelerating quickly. You don't want to be smacking the back of your head against the rear glass. On both door panels, you don't have any fancy buttons like you would find on a modern vehicle. You just got your latches to open the doors and then your manual roll down of the windows. On the left side of the steering wheel here, you'll have your brake release down at the bottom. Up above, you have your light control. So all you do here is you're going to pull this button out to turn the lights on, push it back in to turn it off. Now, you might be wondering, there is a stock here, what is that for? This is your wiper stock on the left side of the steering wheel. Typically, you would find that on the right side. Not only does this serve as your wiper stock, it also serves as your blinker stock as well. On the right side of the steering wheel, all you have there is your gear shifter. And right on top of the steering column, you'll find your hazard lights. Now, this truck did come optioned with air conditioning, but it has had a Freon air conditioning conversion. Very simple controls for your climate controls. Just a slider to the right, warm, to the left, cool, and then you've got the option to shift the top lever from defrost, floor and defrost, just the floor, panel and floor, just the panel up here, and if you slide all the way to the left, you've got your max AC. You have no cup holders, but just below your air controls, you do have an ashtray and a cigarette lighter. This particular truck has also had a updated head unit put in, so you can listen to some tunes while you cruise down the road. As far as storage goes in here, you don't have any storage really in the doors. You do have your glove compartment, and then just above that you do have a little tray here, so maybe you could throw a few snacks or a pen, something like that can be stored there. You have sun visors on both sides. They do flip down and flip out, and when flipped out they basically cover the entire window length, so very functional in regards to those. That wraps up the walk around tour of the exterior and interior of the vehicle. Now I'll put you in the driver's seat to see what it's like driving it. All right, so my thoughts on the 1990 Ford Ranger. This is such a cool experience getting to drive an older vehicle like this. Very nostalgic. This one's been very well kept, you know, from the interior tour I showed you. It's very clean in here. Definitely having this camper shell back here as well with the large windows, it helps with visibility like I was mentioning. You know, power's not great. It's 140 horsepower. It's definitely on the slower end, but you're not buying this vehicle to be fast. Now, this isn't something you're gonna wanna do any heavy lifting and hauling with, but it'll come in handy for, you know, if you're a gardener and you've got some tools, rakes, shovels, things of that nature that you've got to haul around. And you can show up a little bit in style with a little bit of a classic truck. You know, on pre-1989 models, this V6 engine had some issues with cracked cylinder heads and valve train noise and things of that nature. On the freeway, I will say that, you know, 65 miles an hour is about as comfortable as I would be pushing it in this vehicle. I wouldn't want to push it much more than that. Maybe starts to feel a little unstable. I should point out that the seats are not adjustable. I forgot to mention that. I am 6'1" though, and I fit fairly well. I feel pretty comfortable driving it, and I definitely have a ton of headroom here as well. You could definitely fit another individual in the passenger seat. In the center seat, you do have the center hump on the floor. I guess if you have longer legs like me, it might be a little more uncomfortable, but you have a decent amount of room to kind of shoot your legs forward if you are sitting in that center seat. I think this thing would be awesome to, you know, just take out to the beach. You've got the long 7-foot bed back there, and you can just pull up overlooking the water, back this thing up to it, and just open up the bed, sit back there with a cooler full of snacks, and just hang out and cruise. Again, this is not something you're gonna go do crazy off-roading in or drive fast in. It's just a nice little cruiser. It's not a whole lot of excitement as far as driving it, but again, that's not the point. It's just a cool experience driving this thing, and it gives you some functionality while being that cool time capsule and nostalgic experience as well. But a big thank you to the Motorsimo Collection for, again, allowing us to review this vehicle. Be sure to check them out. I'll put their page in the description below. They constantly get old school 90s and early 2000s vehicles like this coming in, and they tend to auction them on Cars and Bids. So be sure to check them out if you're into those types of vehicles. Well, that wraps up today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're not already, to make sure you're part of the Car Squad fam and not missing out on other videos like this. And you can give us a follow on Instagram at Car Squad TV. I'll put the link right here. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.